The following episode contains spoilers, and be sure to follow our podcast on these available platforms.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Nocturnal Movie Club. I am joined by my esteemed co-host, Mr. Josh, Mr. Jake. How you guys doing?
Hey, how's it going?
What's up, man?
We have a lot to dive into. Deadpool and Wolverine has blown up in theaters, and then recently we just had Comic-Con in San Diego. There was a Marvel panel that not a lot of information, but enough for us to discuss. But Jake, I'll start you off. You saw Deadpool and Wolverine. I saw you at the screening. What did you think?
Honestly, for somebody like, because I've seen all the trailers before, and I was not excited to see this, like, especially given the state of the MCU's
You weren't
recent.
excited?
I wasn't. Like, there was a couple of reasons why. One was the output of the MCU, the fact that
Mhm.
Deadpool was owned under the Disney brand. Also, this was a personal one for me. The director, Sean Levy, he's made a lot of very inoffensive movies, so I was wondering if he was really the right choice for a Deadpool film. But
Mhm.
honestly, I was very surprised how much I enjoyed it. Like,
Whoa, I'm shocked that you were surprised you enjoyed it. I knew Sean Levy was like the right guy after seeing Free Guy. I think him and Ryan worked really well together on that film. So I thought like would be perfect considering like all he was there was a lot of IP in that film. So I figured he'd be able to handle all the IP that was going to go into this film. So I figured like, oh, this is gonna work. Especially I could see him working with Disney well and the constraints that Disney has. Because they didn't go there. They went there enough as much I think Disney was willing to let them go. But
honestly,
it
much more than I thought they were ever going to. Like, I thought there was
oh for
absolutely
sure.
nothing.
Like I was kind of with Jake. I was a little bit nervous, and Sean Levy was part of it. I know that he's kind of Ryan Reynolds' guy because he did do
Yeah.
Free Guy, and I think he also did Adam Project, right?
Yeah, it's kind of
So,
like
and
with
like the first two movies, you had the first one from the guy who directed Zombieland. Second one is David Leitch. I hope I'm pronouncing him right, and he's like one of the top action directors going on right now. So like those choices make sense. Sean Levy, I was nervous about, but I'm also with Jake. I was pleasantly surprised. I also had a lot of fun.
No, I think my going into it, I had my expectations lower, low, considering the track record the MCU has been on film wise, at least, where it's
Mhm.
just like the last set of films have been lackluster per se.
they've
Yeah,
been bad. Let's just put it
They've
that
been
way.
I will.
bad. And this is one of those films that like it was so cameo heavy. Like I was just like doing my best to avoid the internet at just all costs to not ruin it for me. Like we knew Elektra was gonna be in it going into it. We we knew X-23 because they dropped that like a week before. But
Mhm.
other than that, I was genuinely surprised by the Blade of it all.
Mhm.
And the fact that he said he's gonna be the only Blade was also just like,
Which also, like, no love for Sticky Fingers for the TV series.
right.
No
Well,
love for that.
I thought we were getting a Sticky Fingers variant in the
Yeah, I thought we would get like him, like a little cameo, like just a little Sticky Fingers variant. Like we're just going to ignore it. I mean, I know Spike TV doesn't exist anymore, but
right.
no love.
I mean, but collectively, I think we would all generally like to forget that ever happened.
See, like, I'm
Including
just imagining what Deadpool would say in response to this little wish of ours.
that Ryan Reynolds, who I think is so thorough and knows about everything. I don't think he even knows about the Sticky Fingers Spike TV show.
Hmm.
Yeah, that one has been like that's not on any streaming platforms. I think you can still get a DVD complete set, and I will say one of my Blade complete series DVD collection does come with the uncensored pilot movie.
Okay.
So but yeah, I think that's one of those references, and that is it's something that like kind of ties into part of what I actually like about Deadpool versus Wolverine. That makes me also sad that Sticky Fingers wasn't included. It's like a love letter to forgotten media. Like they had Gambit, they had the Channing Tatum Gambit, and
And I thought he was great, by
I
the
thought he
way.
was great. I mean, that
I
man
thought the
Benjamin
accent was perfect.
yeah, we wanted it. We're very sad we never got it, but at least we got this. And even Elektra, like her standalone film was really bad, but
It's very
that
camp. I was like, you go into it like it's like one of those movies I can love to hate watch because it's so camp. But if you look back at the 2005 Electra film with Jennifer Garner, the some of the action stuff is not that bad. Some of the action pieces.
I remember seeing it in the theater because it was advertised in the comics I was reading at the time.
Yeah.
I just remember, like, I was a kid. I remember having fun as, like, just the CGI goop of it all. Like,
Yeah.
but I haven't seen it in such a long time. But, and I like the idea that they're honoring media that's kind of forgotten or barely anyone likes. Because at the end of the day, people still worked on it and worked hard on it. And it's that I was really nervous that it was going to be like a Ready Player One style cameo fest and just piling
Uh,
references after references. Like, oh, remember this? Remember that? Isn't this cool? Like, just member berries the movie. But there was a lot more respect than I was expecting, and I'm very happy about it.
Yeah, it's
well, what I didn't know was that I didn't know Wesley and Ryan had beef
oh
Oh,
yeah, it's very
prior
well
to.
documented.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of
Honestly,
that
all
fully
people.
until I heard like some of the people after the press screening. They were like chit chatting, like, "Oh, I can't believe they got over that," and I'm just like, "Oh," and then I remember, oh, they were in another Marvel movie together, like
all right.
Blade 3. I'm just like, oh, and I can't believe they didn't reference that, knowing especially Ryan, like, and how like he just references everything. I can't believe he didn't like reference the whole like him being Blade 3 at all. Like that was like now that like I was like I didn't even think about it.
That's kind of weird. Like, they referenced Green Lantern in Deadpool 2, but they're not going to reference Blade 3.
Right.
They
Really?
won't
You were
reference
in
the
it.
backstory of Blade 3 about their feud.
Oh
Maybe
yeah,
That
that's why.
it
yeah.
was more
Jake filled it in.
references. What's that?
Do you know where the feud stems from? Like I didn't know they didn't get along on the set of that film.
Oh yeah, look it up. Like what because Wesley apparently like did not like working with Ryan Reynolds at the time, and he had some, let's say, terms of endearment to say about him.
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, I had no clue going into it, so I was like, oh, okay.
I
It
was
was,
legitimately surprised when Wesley Snipes showed up. I'm like, I can't believe like that, like this I would not have expected to see. And they actually do reference that beef in there when
Well, I do.
when it's like I
If
don't
I,
like you. It's like you never liked me.
oh right, yes.
if I
Well,
remember correctly, a lot of the beef also just stemmed from Wesley Snipes just not liking the entire production of Blade 3. Like,
which makes sense.
I
Yeah.
felt like Ryan Reynolds. I mean, part of it was probably him, but also I just remember reading on how that whole production was a nightmare. And my only funny bits were how him and Chris Christopherson bonded over mutually hating the production.
Mm. Yeah, apparently he was like really not happy with the director on this one because the director was also the guy who wrote the first two, and I think that was
David
his
S. Goyer,
directorial
right?
debut, wasn't it?
Hmm.
That was his directorial debut, right?
Yeah.
Goyer.
Yeah, it was Blade 3 had some issues. But yeah, I forgot that Ryan was even in that movie and that whole thing. He should have played a variant of himself in that film in this movie.
That would have been funny, but you know what? Like he would have had to share the screen with Chris Evans, Johnny Storm.
All right. They kicked it off high. That one I did not. I mean, obviously there were so many
Got
rumors
me.
going around,
Yeah.
but I
That one
just
actually did
think,
get me.
yeah, it didn't get you.
No, it did. Like, I was surprised. I thought it was going to be like a variant Captain America because there are so many different types of Cap. But when he said "Flame On," I was just like, "Oh shit!"
What's so funny? People next to me, they were like, "Oh, Nomad, Nomad," and they're like, I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I guess they can random to do Nomad here." Like considering we got like Nomad in like a Infinity War, but I was just like, "Oh, okay," and then like they did it. I was surprised Chris honestly did it. I was like, the check must have been real good.
Oh yeah.
Was there? I mean, I mentioned Sticky Fingers. Was there a reference that you two wish they made that they didn't make?
Honestly, not really. I felt like
Not really, but I was surprised that like because they had all these characters like Toad. I thought we were gonna get the original Toad. I thought we were gonna get the original um Lady Deathstrike. Like they had like versions of them, and then I mean they referenced it. They were like, oh, budget constraints.
Mm.
But
also
like
story wise, there was like so much in this already. Like it would have been a little too much.
yeah, it would
Yeah.
have been a little too much. And then the fact that we got Sabretooth was great. I mean, for like 5 seconds. Um, but that was cool. I mean, honestly, I thought it was almost too easy of a battle with Sabretooth.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could have gone on a little longer. I mean, that is some of my issues are kind of like, okay, you made the reference, but sometimes they would do something with it. Other times they really didn't. And with Sabretooth, that was an example of like that fight scene could have gone on a lot longer. Like it
Right.
didn't have to
Sabretooth has
be
never
like,
been that easy to defeat for Wolverine.
nah, it made no sense. I don't know why. It could have been like something with the actors or a time constraint. I bet when they put out this movie, there's going to be an extended cut, and I wouldn't be surprised if one of the bits that is in the extended cut is a longer fight scene.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
1000%.
Josh, what do you think the name of the extended cut? What do you think the name they're going to give it is?
Extra long.
Hmm.
Well, remember the original name of this movie was Deadpool and Friend, and then I think that leaked, and then people were kind of like, what, outraged, and then finally he saw people were pissed, and like, okay, Deadpool and Wolverine. Like Deadpool and Friend would have not been great,
I,
but I'm glad he went with Deadpool and Wolverine.
Like the
I'm a
friend
little
cut,
disappointed. I'm sorry.
like Deadpool and Wolverine, the friend cut.
The Friend cut. I could see him doing the Friend cut.
I'm also just a bit disappointed about that Cable wasn't in this.
Yeah, it seemed to like
No, I mean, it was obvious
yeah.
Cable and Domino weren't going to come around this time.
I know, but like they were so good in the second one, and they're such integral characters, and they could have made more Thanos jokes or something with Josh Brolin. It
Yeah.
it does. I mean, I do get it. You don't want to clutter up the movie with too many characters, especially since let's like look, Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, they have fantastic chemistry. I wish they could have incorporated him in some capacity, especially with the time. I'm blanking on what the name of that group was, Time People or whatever.
Of the
Of
TVA.
the
Yeah,
TVA at the time. Yeah. Well,
yeah.
you bring up another point because I'm still a little bit confused. All right, so when the movie starts off, they make it seem like Deadpool has always been in the 616 universe. And then guys, correct me if I'm wrong, because that's why I'm confused. But like, they made it seem like Deadpool is in the 616 already. He's like in the main Marvel timeline. Because he goes sees Happy Hogan, and because they say like in the beginning, so it's like 616.
Didn't they put on another title card when he was back at home? I thought he was jumping back and forth.
Yeah, I was. I'm not totally certain that like if is he in the main timeline now? Is he in the MCU
I think
time?
he's in the
Like,
main timeline now, but I think at the beginning he was like shifting back and forth between the 20th Century Fox universe and 616.
I
And
don't know. I don't know. It
It
was
wasn't explained
confusing.
very clearly. The
Yeah,
story
because like
all over the
this
place.
whole it was the whole beat, like the whole arc of him like wanting to join the Avengers, and then like him not being qualified. I'm like, okay, so then like Avengers like is he in the main MCU timeline? Like I don't know.
they
To
could have
be
included like one scene of him playing with Cable's tech and being like, shit, these guys are cool. I want to be there. And he could just jump back and forth because Cable already established that he knows time travel. And the second movie ended with him using Cable's time travel tech. They could have just had it be like, oh, he made a universe jumper or whatever. And they didn't really do that.
Yeah, I could have seen maybe that this yeah, I don't know. Because then they would have the reveal of the TVA, like when he's watching all the TVs with the Avengers on them. Like that would
yeah.
take away from that reveal. So that was like a little bit of an oversight that they made.
Yeah, I'm not yeah, it's not very clear as to where Deadpool is. Like this like it was a great movie overall. I loved it. We'll watch it. Can't wait to watch it again. It definitely didn't move. I wasn't sure if this is like a goodbye to Deadpool in that whole
It's not a,
X-Men universe
not a
or
goodbye to
He's gonna
Deadpool.
be
They're
doing
going
it
to
until
milk
he's
that
90.
as long as possible.
yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
That scene with Thor in the
Oh
TV,
yeah, why was Thor crying?
that's going to happen. I fully believe it. I think that that's going to definitely happen. I don't know the context.
Bless you.
But
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean,
And we'll see more of Deadpool.
yeah, I just don't see how he doesn't fit well into the rest of like the bunch. Like I'm trying to see like how does Deadpool is fit into the rest of like the MCU, you know?
well, maybe
Like
they're just gonna keep doing regular Deadpool movies here and there, like not have it actually be part of the timeline.
yeah.
I mean,
I
Yeah,
mean,
sure.
one of the credible things about the Deadpool series is that there's always room for flexibility,
Correct.
like compared to the canon timeline right now with the MCU. One of the
Yeah.
many.
and they'll
Yeah.
probably make jokes about him needing to be toned down if he ever does a team up with the Avengers. He'll do the whole can't show that it's PG-13 or whatever, and like you get one fuck, damn it, or something like that.
Once
Like
Upon a Deadpool, right?
yeah, like Once Upon a Deadpool, like that film, like it was definitely more of a test case, and it wasn't great except for all the Fred Savage bits. That was
Right.
awesome. But it did show that Deadpool without all the cursing and the violence, it's not great, but maybe in small
But
doses it
doable,
works.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like I think that a PG-13 Deadpool will not work at all as its own movie, but having him interact with other Marvel characters where he has to like push the line as hard as possible. And it's a challenge. Like it would be a challenge, but I would say that Ryan Reynolds has the skill to pull it off as an actor and as like someone who has to ad lib a lot. I think he can make it work.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
still think that he should be the new Stan Lee. He should be making cameos in all of them. Like he just stops.
He did
Yeah.
dub himself Marvel Jesus, so I don't know, maybe. Well, we've been talking about Deadpool. Deadpool, what about how do you guys feel about Wolverine this movie?
was
Um,
great.
what is
It was
this?
great.
Jackman's what, eighth film? Like I think it's eight now, right?
Let's see.
I lost count,
Think
so
eight. I
We
think.
got X-Men, X2, The Last Stand,
Yeah.
Origins. We got
Um,
the Wolverine.
First class. The cameo.
Yeah, First Class.
Days of Future
Ages
Past.
Past.
Day of the Future Past, Logan, and yeah, so this is number 8.
So this is the
Yeah,
This is the ninth then.
eighth one.
No, wait, 9? Oh, wait,
Yeah,
Well-
because all those were 8, so this is the ninth.
this is the 9th, yeah. Let's
I
see.
mean,
Yeah.
Look, he can play this role in his sleep. Like he knows the character in and out. And I'm not gonna lie, like I was one of those people who was against it because Logan was such a strong send off. And look, I love Hugh Jackman as an actor. I want him to do more things and not be stuck in the Marvel schedule. But he was fantastic in it. And I thought that having him kind of dealing with this, having him deal with sort of the same issues that he had in like Logan, but also like I was a loner, abandonment, I fucked up really badly one time and now I have to pay the price. He performs that stuff well. It's
Yeah.
probably nothing that's new, but it's good.
Yeah, and also like it's not like they're bringing him back just to pair up with Deadpool. Like it's what we obviously want to see, but they were able to get some dramatic depth out of him in this one too, despite being
Definitely.
a different variant. It's like
How do you guys feel about him like finally putting on the suit?
Loved it.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I think it's like, oh, we could have done this a long time ago.
He should have wore the mask more. Like I
I
get it.
didn't love the mask. I don't
loved
think the mask.
it.
I didn't think the
I
mask
loved
looked good.
Well, okay, we got spoiled with the mask with the popcorn buckets.
Yeah. Like if you're going to spoil it, have him wear the mask. I mean, that's my issue with a lot of superhero films nowadays in general, where they're not wearing their masks enough. Like it's like
Yeah.
maybe wear it like once in the entire movie, especially like Captain America. And I love the Captain America movies, but wear the mask.
Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel, Guardians. Like, look, even the superhero films I love, wear your masks. It's part of the costume. It's part of the look.
Only one's wearing the mask of Batman
Like, yeah, I guess.
and Spider-Man.
And Spider-Man, and even Spider-Man sometimes.
Yeah. Speaking of DC, one cameo we didn't talk about with Deadpool and Wolverine, the Henry Cavill Wolverine.
Yeah.
I didn't love. I thought it was great. It was a great fuck you to DC, but I didn't love. And no, everyone's been like, "Oh, Henry Cavill will make a great Wolverine." I don't think Henry Cavill will make a great Wolverine. I think this was the proof right there. It felt awkward. It felt weird. It didn't feel right at all.
No, I mean
It was
it's
cute.
not going to work as a Wolverine, but it was
No.
it was a good stab at DC on Marvel's part.
Yeah, it
It's
was
a cute reference.
Yeah, it was a cute reference. Some great fan casting. We love the fan cast over here. And it was like fan feeding, to us, just how like we did John Krasinski and as Reed Richards and Multiverse of Madness. So I thought it was like similar to that, like that kind of cameo.
Yeah,
I
although
love comic.
although in this case this was a little bit funnier than.
Yeah, a lot funnier.
Well, I mean, like obviously funnier, but at the same time, it felt a little bit better utilized. Also, it was shorter.
Yes, very short. I would love to see Cavill in a Marvel something. I'm not sure,
Well, after
Well-
DC, I don't think he's gonna be wanting to do like a superhero franchise again. That keeps you in hell.
I
And he
don't
doesn't
know about
need to,
that.
honestly. He's been having fun with his stuff. Like I caught Ministry of Ungemmonly Warfare earlier this year, and that was a good time. I mean, he was always fun as in Witcher. I wouldn't be surprised if he starts to get in some dramatic work or maybe do just more dark, funny action movies. I don't think he's gonna miss the superhero genre. He was fine as Superman. I still don't like Man of Steel or any of those DC movies, but he wasn't really my issue as much as the writing and directing were,
Yeah.
because I didn't used to really like him as an actor because I thought that some of his stuff in Man of Steel was very stilted. But then I got into more of his work and I'm like, oh, it's not him, it's the direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think he would take the opportunity to, depending on what the project is, of course. Um, but I don't think a ton of people are knocking on Henry's door either for work. Like, I think there's not much work coming his way. So I think if a Marvel project were to come across his desk, I don't think he would scoff at it. Just,
I
the
don't
man has
know.
to keep a job.
I mean, like with Argyle, a lot of people thought that he was going to be the lead character, like he was going to have a prominent role, but he was
Yeah,
like,
but nobody saw Argyle. Nobody saw the other movie he
I
just
saw Argyle.
either.
I saw Ministry of Unjumping Warfare. I saw that one.
The numbers, the box office says otherwise.
The box office sucks. Like people have bad taste. It is what it is. We all know.
But I mean, but that dictates who works
I
and who
know.
doesn't work. So Henry, if I think if he gets a chance, there's a reason why RDJ is back at in MCU as it is. His box office outside of Oppenheimer is you know same thing with the Russos. A lot of people, the same thing with a lot of people outside the Marvel world. That a lot of the main people in the MCU, a lot of them really struggle outside the MCU on their other projects. So they're
Yeah,
always
I don't know
running
what
back.
I don't know
You
what
probably
happened with the Russo brothers and Cherry. Cherry was so bad.
I don't know. I want to know what happened with Russo brothers and so many projects they worked on that aren't
Right,
Marvel.
so many. They've like forgot how to direct.
Yeah, like I don't know what happened because I did rewatch Community recently, and I was like, they used to be a lot better at juggling multiple characters and pacing and personality.
I
And
mean, Endgame is still a masterpiece, and
it
I'll never take
is.
that away from them. Same thing
I,
with Infinity War.
I will
But
say
like,
that over time, I think Infinity War is their masterpiece.
yes, I think a lot of
Yeah,
people feel that way too, Jake.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Um,
because here's the thing, like Endgame was good, like combining the characters and giving people what they wanted, but Infinity
mm,
War had much better pacing.
yes, I
Yes,
agree.
100%. So what you were
Uh,
saying about Marvel projects being desirable, and we can probably go into this more when we talk about Comic-Con news. How is that really still the case where Marvel movies are as desirable? Because Deadpool made a shit ton of money and brought back a lot of good faith, and I completely agree with that. But prior to that, plus all of the Blade, the Mashallah Ali Blade news and delays, and the fact that he's been kind of stuck in that developmental hell with them and hasn't really done a lot of stuff since. Like, is it really still desirable? It's not making the outside of Deadpool, it's not making as much money as they used to. And with the quality decline and production delays that kind of trap actors in these contracts because they have to stick with the schedule as it gets delayed. And I do remember there was a story where Elizabeth Olsen talked about how she had to, and I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I remember this correctly. She did have to turn down Poor Things because she was stuck on Multiverse of Madness and that schedule, and that went to Emma Stone, and she got all the Oscars and the Oscar and the career resurgence. It does sort of feel like Marvel is kind of losing that, has been losing that attractive quality.
Well,
it
for me,
has
I don't
lost,
think it
especially
was a
on the
career,
decline.
I don't think it was a career resurgence. I think Emma Stone's always been really good. Like
She's always been really good, but I mean like her career kind of feels different now because of Poor Things. She did the Cursed, she did the other Yorko Kinds of Kindness.
Yes.
These does sort
No,
of
I
seem like
mean, she
being
got
looked at.
Oscar number two off of Poor Things. I mean, she's two Oscars in, which is crazy.
but
Yeah,
she's
Uh,
maybe
got a good working
resurgence is the wrong
relationship with the
word.
director too. So like I think that played a little bit more into Poor Things as well.
That too. I just mean like it feels like she's that Emma Stone is being looked at a bit differently now.
yeah,
Which
no, Elizabeth Olsen could have really used Poor Things, to
mhm.
help elevate. But I think once you, like you said, once you are on that Marvel train, it is hard to get off, which is why she is now take on a break, a little bit of hiatus. But like, let's see, how she does outside of Marvel. Like, if anybody's watching it, and then slowly but surely you're gonna come running back home.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't think a lot of people had a problem with that like back in the day because Marvel movies have always been a success and it's been
exactly.
consistently popular. But now we're in the days of like Quantumania, the first one to not break even, and people are starting to see like, oh, they're not perfect. They're not money makers. We could actually look at them negatively, and therefore word spreads, nobody goes to see them,
Well,
and
even like Brie Larson, like she's had such a rough road, I'll say,
Yeah,
in regards to like playing Captain Marvel. 'Cause some of the fan base can be so negative when it comes to her.
yeah.
Um,
And she doesn't deserve
unfortunately,
any
she
of
was
that.
just in a
Fuck her.
very mediocre film.
Well, I mean, beyond the mediocrity, the mediocrity film is there, but also like the sexist bullshit that she has to deal with from fans, and she's ending up doing it for a film that Marvel's was just kind of meh and didn't make a lot of money. So it's like, is it worth it at this point?
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm
She got
hoping
cheated out
the
of a
best.
solo sequel too.
Hmm?
This
hmm?
she got cheated out of a solo sequel too, because I think it was just supposed to be Captain Marvel 2, and then they ended up having to combine a bunch of different characters.
Hmm.
Like, and correct me if
Yeah.
I'm wrong, that wasn't the original plan.
No, I mean, obviously things shift and whatnot, and they tried to make it more appealing by adding in, Miss Marvel and Photon, of course. But ultimately, it was a weak story.
Hmm.
I chose not to see that one just because like I knew what I was going to be getting into. After Guardians 3, I was like, I'm done. And then Deadpool came out. I was like, okay, I'll make an
I
exception. But
I
I
did
stand
wait until Marvels went to Disney Plus, and I thought it was just kind of okay, but not special. I like Kamala Khan, and that's kind of most I can say about it.
Yeah, I don't think it was like a terrible film per se. Like it's not unwatchable.
Quantumanium was worse.
Quantumania was absolutely one of the worst, like probably the worst at this point. I would say even worse than Thor 2, because Thor 2 at least was consistent. At least it had a story of some kind.
I mean,
Quantumania,
how Ant-Man got a full trilogy is still beyond me. But here we are.
yeah.
Um,
Looking back on it, I remember feeling very weird as I was watching Quantumania, because I'm like, this cannot be from the same series. It doesn't feel like the same series. Like, right?
yeah,
Did
it
I?
it tried to copy Thor at times. It was copying Star Trek and or Star Wars at times. It was like it was weird.
That
And
and
I
honestly,
still remember you saying, Josh, that it was the screensaver movie.
it is. And honestly, you're right, because one of the appeal of Marvel used to be that these separate films had their own personality and can
hmm
be enjoyed on their own, but also like you're rewarded if you watch it together and you see the connections, but you don't have to, because they all like you could watch Black Panther and Captain America: The First Avenger and the first Iron Man movie, and you'll get a completely satisfying experience with a very clear vision, and you'd be okay. But now everything does feel very outside of Deadpool. Everything, all the recent Marvel stuff has felt very homogenous and just one giant interconnecting blob.
Yeah, and the thing is, as the one thing that they're all striving to be, it's boring. It's absolutely boring. It's like milk toast almost.
Well, I'm hoping things. Well, speaking of that, I'm hoping things take a turn with Captain America 4, because it
Mm-hmm.
feels like a return to Captain America style films with like a whole thriller, like political thriller type of vibe. Which has like that Winter Soldier vibe. It has some of that, and even with the TV show, The Falcon and Winter Soldier. Um, it feels very Captain America-y. It feels like
It
that.
does.
So I feel like we're getting a return to form, hopefully, with Captain America being in its own type of film.
I
That
do
being
have faith in
said,
it.
I the trailer so far didn't really impress me that much. I felt like at least there's no like crescendo that it was building up to, except for maybe the Red Hulk. But even there, I'm kind of like, I don't know, it didn't
I
grab
will
me.
say I didn't want to see the Red Hulk. I would rather have that been a surprise, but I am excited for it because Sam Wilson's story is is very interesting to me, and I did enjoy like his story of reconciling his racial identity with his superhero identity and what it means to represent America as a black superhero. And I thought that, and I feel like, and it feels like this movie is going to dig a lot deeper in it.
Yeah.
And
Is it
I'm
just me?
very, hmm?
I'm sorry. Finish it. What were you going
I was
to
just
say,
saying I'm intrigued. Like it feels the most like you said, like it feels like a Captain America film. It feels like it's not being caught up in the greater nonsense of Bland, and it's gonna have a more focused story with themes that at least whether you think they're well executed or not. I hope they're well executed, but if they're not, at least it's unique to itself.
Yeah.
Well, it's the same team who worked on the show, and I really enjoyed the show. So I think if it's that same group of people, I think we will have something at least watchable and something that we can talk about and have a discussion about.
But now the question is it like, it might be good, it might be watchable. The question is, at the end of the day, is it going to be successful? That's the determining factor.
Which is where I think now they're throwing in the Hulks and I get it. It's a little bit intertwined with the super soldier, what's the called thing?
Syndrome?
Yeah. So I think I get why they would throw the Hulks in there, but I'm very curious to how they make this all work.
I
Yeah.
mean, Sam Wilson, Anthony Mackie. I guess he's bankable. Like I do enjoy Twisted Metal. I have been watching it and it's fun, but I can't think of a movie. Well, there was that one very not good superhero film that he did with Jamie Foxx that I think was a Netflix movie. I'm blanking on the name.
Yeah, no, Anthony Mack, for the record, Anthony Mackie has not fronted a commercial project at this magnitude at all.
No.
So this is a risk on a lot of fronts. And this is going to be a big test for Marvel and whether or not this is the first time, and it's also the first time they're introducing a legacy character. Like this is the first time like we have this person, Captain America, who's been played by Chris Evans for the past three movies, and he's now passing the mantle down. It's not a reboot. It's not a remake or anything. This is literally like the first time in any movie really passed a mantle down. Well, I guess if you count Black Panther, really, Black Panther's kind of similar thing, but
But that was kind of like they were pretty much forced to do that with the
yeah, they were forced to do that. But this is like the official like first time like they're like passing a mantle down to somebody.
And also, Wakanda Forever was the act of passing the mantle was the core theme of the movie, and that did seem to work in its favor. And I think they're kind of going to do the same thing with this new Captain America film, because I do remember from the trailer, the Harrison Ford's Thunderbolt Ross character was like how much of America is accepting that a black Captain America is a thing. So it looks like they're going to be tackling passing down the mantle as a core theme of the story, which did work for Black Panther, and I do suspect it'll work for this too. It seems to have all the right pieces.
Wasn't the passing the mantle theme like that was the theme of Falcon and the Winter Soldier though? Like,
Well, that definitely
There was a lot
true.
of things going on there.
There was a lot. There was really a lot. It was one of them, and I hope that we get an appearance from U.S. Agent, because I actually do love Wyatt Russell's U.S. Agent from that show.
We're getting a whole lot of him in the Thunderbolt, so
Yeah, we still need a trailer though. but because but it is going to be a tough sell because there aren't a lot of names in this. You got Harrison Ford, you got I know Shira Haas, who's playing Sabra from Unorthodox, but I don't think she's that big a name. She
No.
might be. No, okay. But
no, you got Anthony Mackie and Harrison Ford, and then hopefully the brand Captain America.
yeah.
That's all. Anthony had to really. I don't know how he got Harrison to do this.
Well, he probably owed Disney a favor after Indiana Jones. That's my only speculation.
if he got paid in weed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that on my YouTube subscriptions? There was something from Rotten Tomatoes. They did like a quick 10-second interview with that Harrison Ford, and he just like in a very old man like grumbly voice, he's like, "Yeah, I'm the president of the United States. That's what I am." And then he just walks away. It's like he looked like he was really excited to be there.
Yeah.
Who would have thought Harrison Ford is in the MCU? Like never in life. I mean, once we got Robert Redford, I was like, anything's possible. Next thing you know, Meryl Streep is going to be joining.
Well, it makes a little bit of sense that Robert Redford would be in that. I feel like of all the MCU branded projects, Captain America would be the one I could imagine him appearing in.
Yeah.
Like,
And also, how many Air Force One? Sorry.
No, I was just saying because he works really well in thrillers. So,
How
Oh
many how many Air Force One references is he going to make?
yeah. I mean, hopefully not a lot. Um, it would take away from this film. I don't know. I'm really excited for Anthony and the team to really show us what they have. I think it's going to be a solid movie. I don't think it's going to be like the MCU like juggernaut by any means,
yeah.
and I don't think they think that either. I think they're tempering their expectations. Um,
It really makes me wonder, like, how did they go from knowing what they were doing to not knowing what they were doing?
I think I don't know. Well, Kevin just has a lot on his plate. I think, especially with once you added all the toys he got from Fox and um yeah, I think it's a lot. I mean, and the fact that they had to run back to the Russos and RDJ to like help fix, the mess they got themselves in, it's really like makes me like nervous.
Yeah, speaking
I
of
think.
which, I do believe San Diego Comic-Con just happened recently.
Oh yeah, we're already in San Diego Comic Con. We're
Transitions.
transitions. Well, next on San Diego Comic Con, Thunderbolts, which we did not see much of or get anything or anything. I don't think anything new came out of that panel. I don't think I learned anything in particular. Um,
Just that, oh yeah, we're all still alive.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm a little nervous about it because it does sort of feel like with the Guardians of the Galaxy like done, they want to have their like ragtag group of losers come
well,
together.
essentially, Thunderbolts is Marvel's version of the Suicide Squad.
Yeah,
Oh,
but Suicide Squad, like the good version, was DC's Guardians of the Galaxy tonally. So it does feel like they're sort of trying to like shit. We don't have James Gunn anymore. We'll try to come up with. We'll use the Thunderbolts and we'll have them be edgy and fun and relatable and deep cuts. And I mean, I think that it's got a solid cast. And like I said before, I love Wyatt Russell as U.S. agent, but there just isn't much to really get me excited about it at the moment.
I
no,
mean,
like,
I've said this before. I'm pretty sure Thunderbolts is really like how it's really Black Widow too, from what I'm like been told, and really that's what it is. Like the way the Marvels is Captain Marvel too. I think
Mhm.
Thunderbolts is really like a Black Widow too, to me, from what
see,
I've heard and read.
are you ready for the Jake cringe joke of the podcast? Then why didn't they just call this The Widows? Be on brand with Captain Marvel.
Speaking of widows, I think even Captain America. What's the the actress you were talking about, Josh?
From
Shira Haas.
Yeah, I think she's playing a widow.
Yeah, they changed up the character she's playing Sabra because her character in the comics was an IDF soldier
Right,
and
right.
is not good at the moment.
Yeah,
And
we'll
I mean,
touch
it
it.
wouldn't be the first time, and I'm totally fine with that sort of change. I hope they keep her Jewish because I want that representation in the MCU. They didn't do enough of it in Moon Knight, and I want more of that. So I hope they kind of are able to work in her Jewish identity in some capacity. But I'm fine with more widows. I mean, I liked the Black Widow movie. I think that whole organization, it was so underdeveloped that they definitely could do some work to develop it.
Yeah.
But I'm fine with that kind of change.
Yeah, it seems
Yeah,
like
I don't know.
Marvel's just like picking and choosing what they develop in their properties now.
Listen, I love Florence Pugh. I think she's an excellent Black Widow and excellent Yelena. Um, I love everyone in this movie. I'm just nervous how it's going to come together. The villain is supposed to be Sentry. No one on that team have anything close to the power level to like go toe to toe with the Sentry.
Yeah,
And
either they're going to nerf the shit out of him or they're going
I
to be
agree.
like, he's going to be this final unknowable boss that they have to stop from being created or something because they can't fight a full power sentry. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's like that's fighting Superman essentially. And
Well,
like
not only that, but like they also don't have like their own solid like solo film to bounce off of, like to do a team up. It feels like they were just given like fragments, and now all of a sudden we're supposed to buy them as a team. It's like
yeah.
it's like they're rushing a new Avengers out.
Yeah, perhaps like and then I think they're itching to have a new team because I know all these teams are going to come together in Avengers Doomsday, but yeah, I'm not sure what the plan is here. But I'm intrigued enough to that. I think once we do get a final trailer, that it'll be interesting.
I don't know. I still need to be convinced, but we'll see.
Is there a creative team yet? Like, do we know who's directing and writing it?
Oh yeah, this movie's been shot.
So,
Oh,
so who directed it?
Let me see. Research, Thunderbolts, director. This movie's done.
right.
Jake Shearer is the director for the Thunderbolts.
Jake Shear. I don't. What's he done? I don't know that.
I'm looking
He
at.
has done.
He did Paper Towns.
Oh yes, this is the creative team behind Beef. The creative team behind Beef
Oh,
is very involved in this film.
okay, cool. I liked Beef.
Was good.
Yeah, so which is why originally, before he dropped out, he was going to be in the film. Steve Ewan, uh,
Right.
he
Okay.
was originally going to be Sentry because he had the whole
Right.
connection to the Beef team.
Right. And that would have been awesome casting. Let's be real. That would have been great.
Yeah, I think it would have been great, but it didn't work out.
Didn't work
So
out. It happens. It happens.
it happens. It happens. Yeah, I'm gonna be optimistic about the whole. You know, we'll see. I'm gonna be very optimistic.
But I
I
do have a
was.
message for Kevin if he's listening. You know they say money talks. You notice how quiet it's been lately?
Oh well, I love to get my messages from Feige, my best friend. Yeah, I will see. Lewis Pullman was replacing Steve Ewan, and I love Lewis. I think he's a great actor. He was great in Top Gun. I think he's an awesome pick. But
Yeah.
yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. Like we'll
I'm
see.
just willing to be cautiously optimistic. I mean, casting.
Exactly.
I'm never concerned with these Marvel films about casting because they generally hit the nail on the head with getting solid actors for the.
We'll wait till we get the casting, till we get the RDJ as Doctor Doom. I'm just like,
Are we
ah.
ready to talk about that, or should
Well,
we?
we might as well. Thunderbolts. Let's just get into it.
Yeah, we know how we feel. So our Robert Downey Jr. back as Doctor Doom.
What?
I know, it's such a shock. No, this is breaking news. No one has had it all heard of it by now. It's not like they did a whole fucking presentation with other drones and shit. I'm nervous.
Same. Like
It
what?
reeks of desperation. And
It really does.
I'm gonna preface it. Is there comic precedent for it? Yes.
Yeah.
They have a rivalry. They have teamed up. They have been each other. There was a whole series where
He took over the AI.
yeah, where he was AI, and I think there was a series where Doctor Doom was Iron Man or vice versa. I don't remember. It was called Infamous Iron Man. I didn't read it, but I know it exists. So there is precedent for this type of relationship.
Yeah.
It doesn't change that it really reeks of desperation, and I think everyone kind of sees that.
Yeah.
I really don't understand
Jake is
why
so
we're
distraught he
spinning
left
the
the
block.
camera.
Yeah.
Honestly, like what you were saying before, Josh, it's desperation. It reads like nothing but that. Despite the fact that Robert Downey Jr. is a very versatile actor and he could pull off a really great Doctor Doom.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
we all know
I
that.
don't
This is
too
the
much
whole point
design.
of like you have your most important person. You have the person who was the anchor, really, right? Back to bring it back to Deadpool and Wolverine. He is the whole anchor for the MCU, and the fact
Yeah.
that you bring him back in to be Doctor Doom, like it just reads like. I mean, I know
Seems like
Jonathan
they
Majors
couldn't
really
get
messed
right.
up, but like I we were better off recasting Jonathan Majors and trying to wrap up this whole Kang storyline. I just don't get it. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which
like I don't get why they
they're
didn't
really in a
just
bad
recast
spot.
Jonathan Majors. He is literally a character built on variants of himself existing. It would have been the easiest thing in the world to recast him. And I think but even Doctor Doom, like I personally wanted a solo Doom film to be the first villain movie of the MCU. I had a whole fantasy in my head of there being a solo Doom movie in the style of Richard III, and then where he like slowly following him, and then by the end of the movie he is the ruler of Latveria. Second movie, power struggle, but that movie ends with Latveria going to war with Wakanda. And then a third Doctor Doom movie and a third Black Panther movie is that war, but told from each other's point of view.
Okay.
I could see
None of that
working.
is really going to happen. So thank you for indulging me.
Yes.
The point is, there's just so much more imagination that could have gotten into this. And this just doesn't, I don't see it. And
Yeah, it feels lazy. It feels desperate. And then the fact, and then I heard RDJ will only come back if the Russos came back. I don't know. I'm not feeling it. Maybe this will be genius. Like maybe by the time this comes out, we're gonna be like, oh my gosh, eating our words.
and
But
I'm happy to eat my words. I will happily do it. If the trailer, if we see that performance and they write it the
not
right
even the
way,
trailer, 'cause we've all seen amazing trailers. If this story
True.
is not great and it doesn't make sense, I think people will riot.
Yeah,
yeah.
but isn't I'm gonna get deep for a moment, but this whole arrangement with him coming back and the Russos coming back, it kind of says something really sad about the way stories are being told right now because they tried to do something new. They brought in new talent, they brought in new actors, and the films haven't been successful. They're not making
Yeah.
money, so they have no choice but to bring back the OGs. So it just feels like we're not confidently moving forward with this series.
But if you bring back those, this is not the way to do it. Like this is just not the way. Give
Yeah.
us,
Exactly.
don't give us like
After
Doom, don't give us the Doctor Doom. There's already an evil version of Iron Man, superior, Iron Man.
Spirit
Like
Iron Man.
do that instead. Don't make
I
Doctor Doom another iconic character.
I think that casting Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man would have worked if it was a surprise build up and we got to see the writing happen.
But
Because
Yeah.
how
then
would people have reacted then, though? Like at
I think
that,
then I think that if we set to see that, it would have all the pieces would have already been put together. The build up would have happened where like maybe Tony Stark makes sporadic appearances, but he's acting slightly differently. And it then turns out, oh, this is a variant version of Iron Man. And he's wearing like maybe one of the movies ends with him putting on the Doctor Doom armor. Like I think that's the only way I could have imagined this working
I
because
don't know.
I don't know.
because
Like I would be more okay if it was like because I thought if RDJ was coming back, I thought it was going to be as Tony Stark's AI, right? Because there's a precedent for that in the comics, and he's back in the AI form. I could
Mhm.
see maybe the real Doctor Doom controlling Tony's AI, and that being like a front for that. But like I also as RDJ, like I don't see RDJ wearing the mask, like.
And by the way, did you notice that Doctor Doom on stage took off his mask there? Like, isn't that what his characteristic is that he doesn't remove his mask? And yet he
Yes.
does have a single
But I
movie?
mean, look, that's promos. That shit's gonna happen. I
know,
don't
but
think that's
that
gonna
just
work.
gives it away, though. Like, that just gave everything away.
Yeah, like I would be more okay if this was like we don't actually need our DJ on screen. This is just like him doing the voice, like for Doctor Doom, but it's not going to be that.
We still would have known though, and I think it would still come off cheap. Like if it's just a voiceover role, you really couldn't get like a voice actor or anybody else. I mean, it goes back to what I was saying. It just feels like that Marvel doesn't have the clout that it used to, because people did bring up other actors that they could have gotten to play Doctor Doom. Like I've heard Cillian Murphy's name tossed around. And I heard Giancarlo Esposito, who was going to be in Captain America, but
he's going to be the king of the Serpent Society.
Yeah, but I've heard like that, like before that, like I heard that was going to be like.
Hell, what is Julian McMahon doing? Like,
yeah, honestly though, Cillian Murphy like would have been perfect.
Well, he didn't want to do it. I'm sure he didn't want to do it.
No, he didn't. He was like, I'd rather not be locked into a long-term contract for a movie that might not be that good and might not make its money. I'm going to keep going for my Oscars.
Yeah. Oh, I would if he was to ask me if the very off chance Cillian Murphy would ask me, should I take it? I would tell him no. But at the same time, if we were doing playful stunt casting, that's who I would pick.
Yeah.
There's so many people I would call maybe Eddie Redmayne. I would call
Redmayne.
That would be
there's a-
hilarious.
Yeah, there's a lot of people you can call.
Quivering voice Eddie Redmayne.
Oh, Neil Breen
No.
is Doctor Doom.
No.
People talking about Michael.
You go to your
Fassbender.
corner.
Wear the mask the whole time. It's just his
No.
voice.
You go to your corner. No.
No,
There is no
they're
corner.
out of control.
Only Doom.
No.
Okay, how about this? You get Neil Breen. I'll say David A.R. White.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair game.
The two
Yeah,
of
it
you
turned
are
out that
losing
Doctor
it.
Doom isn't Romani. He's an evangelical Christian. This whole time.
Well, in that case, let's just call Kevin Costner.
God's not dead. Six. Doomsday.
Nah, Kevin Costner won't be Doom unless it's a Western.
This is true.
Like if we
Marvel's
see
first
like
Western?
Hmm?
Would it be Marvel's first Western if that was the case?
there's a Doom variant where he's on a horse. He's a cowboy.
Right. Listen,
I am Doom.
I'll take that over RDJ coming back in this desperate attempt to win us fanboys back.
Yeah.
I
I still stand by that he could give a great performance, but yeah, I'm not a fan of this either.
Yeah,
The whole
they
thing is Kevin Costner. You're trying to make these Horizon movies appeal to an audience that doesn't actually exist, or at least won't go outside. So
Or at
make
least see a
Horizon
three-hour
Part
movie that's
4,
even
the
apart.
secret Doctor Doom origin story.
yeah, no. No.
Kevin
No.
anything from the Postman.
It's a no, it's a no, it's a no. It's a hardcore no. I don't know. Feige, I'm just gonna do my best to remain optimistic, and we'll see how this goes. But
We'll be here to cradle your head, OJ.
yes,
Well,
but that's a great way to end it, guys. We will be back with another episode. Stay tuned.